involving day. Year 9s in particular, really, a lot of them said that they didn't enjoy poetry at all, that it was not something they wanted to engage in, and within just maybe 2 minutes of you doing that engaging register, they were hooked straight away. And from that point, even the weakest of pupils and the pupils that normally would act out and be disruptive were straight away hooked in, wanting to get involved and wanting to listen more to your poetry, which is really good to hear, because now they have that buzz about poetry, which is exactly what we need.
Awesome.
Yeah, no, absolutely. I mean, do you know, for me, I teach some of the Year 10s poetry in myself, but whenever I'm teaching them, like I can see a lot of them struggle with it. Do you know what I mean? And whenever they struggle with it, I can see that they can be disengaged. Because they probably haven't had much of an experience with poetry. However, from what I saw, and I saw the same students in this actual session, they were really engaged. They were coming out with a lot. They really took to it, which I thought was fantastic. I really saw a big change in the way they approach poetry, and maybe the way going forward in my classes, they might see it hopefully a little bit different now. So,
Nice. In terms of maybe looking at the AQA exam then, do you think what was done today might just give them a few, what do you think it may have been of any benefit, do you think? And if so, in what way do you think?
I think it's definitely about timing. Is that a lot of them will just go straight in without actually thinking about what I'm going to write. So kind of highlighting the importance of reading through the question, reading through the text, highlighting the key points, and that way they actually understand what they're going to be writing about, because that's going to hit their AO1 marks for actually being able to answer the question.
As we discussed with Year 9 earlier, that it was useful for them to think about writer's choice, because they don't often get the opportunity, because there's no question in the exam where they have to write a piece of poetry. So even when they do the extended piece of writing, their choice doesn't need to be as skillfully created as in poetry. So it's really interesting that they've now taken that role of thinking about writer's choice, so they can now apply what they've learned to when they analyse it. So it's really helpful for all the different questions, as well as just the creation questions, that they can now see that sort of process behind when we say, why did the writer do that? They now know this is a long process and the writer has really crafted their work.
Amazing.
That was really good to see.
Amazing.
I mean, one thing I did say, like, whenever I've worked with students, be it tuition or whatever the case may be, a lot of the times they'll go to YouTube to see, a poetry rap or structure rap or something to do with poetry, so that they can learn it in a way that's relatable to them. This, I felt like, was bringing that to the students, which I thought was fantastic, because a lot of the students wouldn't actually, some of them don't actually go on YouTube and do that, but it would help them if they did, if you know what I mean. So this genuinely, I think, brought that to their, their doorstep, and it really allowed them to, I think, learn things that would definitely help them and be beneficial for them in the exams.
Brilliant. Miss, you actually coordinated the day, didn't you?
Yes, I just wanted to say this is not the first time we worked with curlyspoetry.com, and I thought that Curly and his team took any advice or any of my suggestions or requests on board. Their planning has been thorough and professional. They have informed the school about what they're going to do. They shared resources. They sort of infected us with their love of poetry, and absolutely brilliant. So.
Yeah, just for the record, my name's Curly, but we're Memorhyme. Sorry.
But I love the way he's getting comments.
Yeah. I'll take that one. I'll take that one. But just for the sake of anyone watching, thank you. I appreciate that. Thank you so much, ladies and gentlemen. I really appreciate your time, and I know our teacher's time is of premium value, man. So I'll let you guys go. So thank you again. Really appreciate it.
I really see poetry as that it could be like that.
Yeah, the
Like
two
you saw it
sides to poetry. A fun side and a boring side.
Oh, that's
You thought it
good.
was just writing, then
Yeah. Normally just writing and writing, but it can be flipped round
Yeah.
to the emotions.
Emotions, definitely. So which poem did you write about?
Remains.
Remains. And which poem did you write about?
the storm.
The Storm. Okay, brilliant.
I think people have like a preconception of poetry as to be like more like of the analytical side, and like just like can be like seen as boring, but it was like creative and like you get into it and stuff.
I thought it was really good, and both the guys did really well to teach us.
I think it's good because normally I rush in like the exam, and it helped me like planning. Like now I'm gonna think twice before I just rush.
The experience gave me a different view on the exam, made me think more creatively about it.
It made me feel more confident about my exams because I've been like kind of stressing about them. I think it was very good.
Yeah.
It's very useful.
This is a very exciting process.
You should come here again.
Yeah, you should.
Come here again.
You guys are very kind. Thank you so much for your comments. Really appreciate it. All right, then. Take care. Enjoy the rest of the day.